Move over, fish girl fall. It's officially wheat girl winter. Welcome to Niche Knits, the series where I explore knitting motifs so oddly specific that I'm not entirely sure anyone asked for or actually wants this. Now, by this time of year, you've probably seen enough Christmas pattern roundup videos to last you several lifetimes. So today I'll be highlighting one of my personal favourite niche knitting motifs, wheat. We've got cozy wheat sheaf sweaters, wheat themed accessories, and yes, actually knitting with real bread. Now the first pattern I have to show you is this amazing wheat sheaf sweater from the 80s. It was actually a free giveaway with the Times magazine, I think, which is interesting. The scans are available online, and if you take a look at the motif on the front, the motif itself is apparently a mixture of knit, embroidery and crochet. So I think the heads of the wheat are embroidered and the sort of string around the sheaf is surface crochet. A knit on Ravelry called Laura, she has sort of modernized the pattern by removing the bobbles, and I think it just looks amazing and detailed and textured, and I really would like to make this someday. Now, these vintage patterns aren't the easiest because they're pieced together, and there's also only 2 sizes, so it's a bit limited. So I do have some more modern patterns to show you, but I think there is something super whimsical about this one. Now, the Field Sweater by Camilla Vad, I think is actually the most popular wheat-themed knitting pattern that I know of personally. It has over 3,000 projects on Ravelry. It comes in 9 sizes and is knit with DK weight yarn. I think it's really elegant in that the wheat circles your neck, and I think it's a simple lace pattern rather than embroidery. But I do think it's a really sophisticated design that's kind of a mix of modern and classic. It also comes in a cardigan as well, so I don't know which one I prefer, but they are both in my Ravelry favourites, and I hope to one day knit this as well. Now, this Wheatfield sweater by Helen Gibson, it doesn't have many projects on Ravelry, but I really like how the stalks of wheat look so 3D. Like, they really look like real wheat, which I think is super cool. And the example is knit with a very nice coloured yarn as well. It also has pockets, and anything with pockets is a yes in my book. It comes in 12 sizes and is knit with DK weight yarn. And I'd love to see more people try out this pattern. Now, moving into the slightly more subtle territory of patterns, we have the Moorland cardigan, which is aptly by Tanya Barley. And you can see the main motif is along the sleeve. And I think it both is evocative of wheat and also leaves, like it could look nice in a green as well. But I'm really liking these cardigan designs that have the high round neck. I think they're really stylish for the past few years, and they kind of keep you extra warm because it's bundled up all the way. I really like the yarn that she used in her example cardigan. It looks super plump and like squishy, and I'd be really interested to try it. I think it really suits this design because it still has that definition, so you can see all the intricate details. So next we have the Wheat Sweater by Sigrid Marie Blom. Now, this is a very delicate and subtle wheat design, but it's still very clearly wheat, and apparently it's made with a structural knit, so I'm guessing some sort of lacework rather than embroidery, which is nice. And it looks to be a very classic raglan construction, which is always good. I find they fit really well. Again, there's sadly not many projects on Ravelry, but the ones that are there do look very nice and well made. So I think this one's a great option for an everyday piece in your wardrobe. Now, the Avena sweater by Jennifer Steingass is a super interesting design. I think it sort of gives like Greek goddess vibes. It looks stunning with variegated yarns in particular, and it's a really clear, crisp design. I probably wouldn't make this one personally just because I prefer circular yoke sweaters that are kind of oversized and chunky, but I know there is a large section of knitters who really like a well-fitted circular yoke sweater, so if that's you, this looks like the perfect pattern. It's also sized inclusively with 13 sizes and worsted weight yarn, so it should be a fairly quick knit. If you're looking for a very minimalist wheat sweater, we have the Maran pullover, also by Tanya Bali. It again is a repeating circular yoke wheat pattern. And I think if your knits tend to lean towards the minimalist, modern, straight, clean lines and a simple, elegant look, then this is the sweater for you. It's actually held with 2 strands of DK weight yarn, which makes a bulky sweater. So this is probably the fastest on the list to knit. Now, if I've accidentally called anything wheat that is grass or barley or something like that, I'm really sorry. I know very little about grains other than what's in the Cheerios song. Now, the last sweater on my list is also called the wheat sweater, and it's by Claudia Fabisiak. And I have to be honest, rather than wheat itself, I think this really reminds me of those braided brioche round wreaths of bread, and it looks like, yeah, if you knit it in a brown or toasted beige, it would look just like one of those brioche rolls. And I think it's super cute anyway, even in random colors like red or green. It is just a cute braided jumper. But if you want to share your secret love of bread with the world, I think this is the perfect sweater to do so. Now there's also a lot of beautiful wheat-themed socks. This pair is just called Wheat. They're by Faye Kennington, and it's a super sculptural 3D effect pair of socks with a climbing, almost geometric, mirrored wheat pattern on it. I again think these wheat patterns look super lovely with a variegated yarn, and just look how neat those stitches look. I think these could be a really special Christmas present for someone actually, and I'd definitely be wanting to wear these all the time if I ever made them. Now these Harvest socks by Inga Berg have a really beautiful and detailed colourwork design. I think the blue looks really nice as the background colour to the yellow. Now I haven't done colourwork socks yet, but I think the fact that it only uses 2 colours would make it a really good first colourwork sock project. I think they're quite gender neutral looking as well. If you have any farmer friends, they'd be perfect. I also think the cuff, toe and heel all using the same yellow colour as the colourwork pattern just makes it look all tied together and really congruent. The last sock pattern I have is the Wheat Socks by Amanda Morse. It has a fairly simple panel of lacework, so I think that these would be quite quick to knit up, and they look elegant and cozy without being too busy. They're also a free pattern, which is always nice. Now, a very beautiful pattern and a really important one is the Freedom Fields shawl by Ludmila Adsenik-Old. All the proceeds from this pattern go to various organisations that are supporting Ukraine, such as the Red Cross and UNICEF. I've heard Ukraine be called the breadbasket of Europe before. You're probably familiar that they're the #1 exporter of sunflower oil, but grain is also a big part of their economy. And this is just so beautiful. The colours of the Ukraine flag and the sophisticated wheat design along the side. I think the composition of the shawl is really nice. I think the wheat sheaves are placed really nicely, and I like how the stalks are angling to the right. So if you purchase this pattern, not only do you get a beautiful, elegant shawl, but you're sporting some good courses as well. Another shawl pattern that I found is the Cloth Serial Spikelet shawl, and this is actually a crochet shawl, which I think crochet is really good for making 3D flowers like the one on my blanket here, and in this case the 3D wheat. It looks really real, like there's actual wheat on that shawl and I think that makes it look really beautiful. Obviously the drape of crochet is not quite the same, so I've never actually done a crochet shawl, but I think as long as the yarn you're using is fine enough, it should still be quite drapey. But yeah, so if you're a crocheter rather than a knitter, this is the perfect wheat accessory for you. And this pattern does use light fingering weight yarn. Now this whole cloth shawl by Maria Matmeva was published in Pom Pom Quarterly magazine, and all these pom pom patterns, they do require you to buy the magazine, but usually there's at least 2 or 3 patterns that I'm interested in making in each edition. So yes, I really think this design is very interesting because it's repeated all over the shawl. It's very 3D, very structural, and quite modern as well. So when I was deciding which shawl to knit, it was sort of a toss-up between this one and another one, and I think my main reason in the end was that this one uses DK weight, so it would be a bit of a longer knit, and again it's maybe a bit more modern, whereas a lot of my wardrobe's quite like vintagey and frilly and old-fashioned looking. Next, the Wheatfield lace shawl by Carla Shorter. This is a very sheer spring summer kind of shawl, which just looks so intricate and elegant. I think it's perfect for going out for dinner, going to a ball, something like that. I can imagine it could take quite a lot of time, but equally it would be one of those sort of heirloom pieces that you could hand down and be treasured for a long time. So the wheat themed work in progress that I'm about to start is the Grow Shawl by Fibre Tales. I think it's really pretty and evocative of sort of fairy tales, countryside walks, cottagecore, that kind of thing. And the yarn that I've got to use with it is this drop soft tweed in cookie dough. I think it's the perfect wheaty yarn, and I'm really looking forward to making this shawl. It will actually be the first shawl that I've knit, although I own a few shawls as it is. It's actually a worsted weight shawl, so this will be held double to produce that worsted gauge, I hope, and I'm super excited to see how this will turn out. Now this isn't a shawl but a cowl, and it's the Amber Waves cowl by Vanessa Baudry. I like the scalloped wavy edge and the lace repeat with the stalks of the wheat sort of spreading out. It looks really elegant, and I think it's one of my favourite lacework wheat patterns. And the Ravelry notes interesting to say it comes from a vintage German lace pattern, which is interesting. Now this project is somewhere between a sock and a slipper. They're called the There and Back Again slippers, and they're by Tanya Barley. Now they're not felted, but they're knitted at a fairly tight gauge so that they're very warm and durable. And I think they'd be super cute for a toasty, warm winter evening by the fire. Now Ravelry also has loads of homeware wheat related patterns, so blankets and intricate doilies like filet crochet things, obviously bread baskets, and I won't go into too much detail with them now, but here are some examples and they'll be included in my bundle. This tea cozy in particular is super adorable, though I haven't really figured out a purpose of using a teapot and cozy when There's only two of us in our house and my husband only drinks coffee, so it's also impossible to do a bread adjacent video without mentioning the cat bread pattern. Well, it's called Breaded Cat. It was sort of a short meme period where people would have their cats wear a piece of bread. So yeah, it's very cute. And I suppose if your cat ever needs to wear the cone of shame and you want a more comfortable version, this could work. Now you can't do a wheat patterns video without mentioning Brianna K Designs. She seems to have trademarked the wheat stitch in the crochet world, and she's done a million different sweaters and accessories, including the stitch, but the hat is the item I've chose to showcase today. It uses worsted weight yarn, and I think crochet really lends itself to hats because it produces a thicker fabric. So when you get cold ears like I do, having the extra thickness is always a good thing. And I really like how her wheat stitch looks, and it should be quite a simple repeat once you get the hang of doing it. It also goes all the way from newborn to an adult large, so you really can make a wheat hat for all the family. I also like the Grow hat, which uses the same design as the Grow shawl that I plan to make. There's also the wheat-sheaf beanie by Kirsta Hines, which uses the super bulky weight yarn, and that gives it that super textural, squishy, soft, giant yarn effect, which is awesome. And a super bulky beanie would be a super quick gift knit. Last but not least in hats, there's the field beret, which of course goes with the field sweater or cardigan. I can never quite get the hang of wearing a beret. It either feels like it's being balanced on my head or like it's not keeping my ears warm, or if I pull it down over my ears then it looks weird. But for those of you who can pull one off, yeah, it's really cute. Now when it comes to mittens, there is the aforementioned crochet wheat stitch mitten as well. Now a lot of these patterns are actually crossover patterns, so these pair of wheat mittens are also related to the sweater that I mentioned earlier, the quite simple looking one, and there's even a hat as well. My favourite though are probably these Whispers of Wheat fingerless mittens, or fingerless gloves. How can you tell if something's a fingerless mitten or a glove because there are no fingers? Anyway, I think they look really beautiful and delicate, and they'd be perfect with some leftover stash yarn you have. Now we all know that shredded wheat cereal is knitted by Nanas.
Nanas have created a splendid new Shreddies recipe.
But can you knit with bread? Now I did mention that somebody was able to produce a knitted bread, by which I mean knitting with dough. And yes, back in 2013, one Ravelry user, November Alexander, took it upon themselves to see if it was possible. And yes, it was. They've successfully managed to bake a loaf of knitted bread with knitted lattice work. Amusingly, they said that it wasn't possible to do a swatch. Now, I am capable of baking a simple custard tart without it turning into an omelette, so yes, I won't be trying this one, but if you do, I would love to hear it. That's all I have for you today on the wonderful world of niche knits. If you have a niche knitting motif that you would like me to cover, please leave your suggestions below. But if they're suggested too many times, then maybe they aren't niche enough. Thank you so much for watching, friends. I really appreciate it. If you've enjoyed this video today, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much, and have a lovely day. Bye bye.